It's official. Yinlin, and perhaps most importantly, String Master, her signature weapon, will be available in the second half of 1.4. And let me be very honest when I say that missing out on this weapon in version 1.0 was one of the biggest regrets a player could have, especially when you factor in how absurdly powerful this weapon is. And with the release of more Rectifier users like Jeja in version 1.2, its value has only ended up growing more and more. There's a few reasons why this weapon is my pick for the best signature weapon in the game, and one of the most intelligent investments you can make for your account. If there's one limited weapon you should pull in Wuthering Waves, it's this one. And today we're gonna take the time to dive into what all these reasons are. As always, if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. One of the most important stats for any DPS character is their balance of critical rate and damage. Highly invested endgame builds typically aim for stats between 65 to 75% crit rate and over 250% damage, and reaching those numbers is oftentimes a prerequisite for many players, depending on their skill, to clear endgame content. String Master is a weapon that expedites this journey for any character you equip it on, as at level 90, this absolute behemoth gives a whopping 36% crit rate. Factoring in the base 5% critical rate every character has, this sets the baseline for its users at an absurd 41%, making endgame builds easily accessible with as little as 3 crit rate rolls across your echoes. Imagine how many tuners, echo experience tubes, and bits of your sanity you've lost min-maxing the echoes of your characters, searching desperately for that glorious double crit roll on every one of your pieces. Some characters like Zhang Liao, with their weapon, hardly even touch 70% with a roll on every piece, and owning this signature lets you reach that threshold with far less effort, RNG, and wasted resources. That's how powerful String Master is. It literally saves you time and money in this game, and we haven't even gotten into its actual effects in combat. However, this incredible benefit does come at a cost, and that's the weapon's worst in class base attack across DPS 5 stars. While it's only 83 base attack lower than other signatures, that can mean a lot, especially when every percentage stat boost in the game works off your base stats. When a character can have upwards of 60 to 120% in attack bonuses from all your echoes, Sonata buffs, and character skills, that's potentially hundreds of attack that will be missing from String Master's users. But a lot of these shortcomings can be made up with that extra flexibility from your echo substats, where you can fish for more attack percentage rolls or damage percentage rolls that help the wielder's main type, like resonance skills for Yinlin herself. But at the end of the day, the pros for String Master's crit rate heavily outweigh the cons of its impact to attack. These benefits alone would probably be enough to warrant running it on every DPS Rectifier user in the game, but it also came equipped with the most flexible and general purpose weapon effect in the game. This skill grants a short duration attack buff whenever the wielder damages an enemy with a resonance skill, with up to 2 stacks or 24%. The bonus from these stacks double when the character is off-field. Characters like Encore, Jeja, and of course Yinlin herself can activate this effect and benefit from its bonuses, but only Encore and Yinlin can maintain full uptime. Encore, with multiple casts of her resonance skill available in her baseline state, can immediately maximize its bonuses with no effort at all, and after triggering her liberation, her resonance skill has its cooldown reset and lowered to 4 seconds. Chaining these two different resonance skills together across your rotation allows you to maintain full uptime on the buff, turning her into one of the strongest main DPS characters in the game. Encore has so much synergy with this weapon that her Forte circuit, which triggers a delayed explosion that can be swap cancelled, can gain the off-field bonus to its stacks as long as she can use a resonance skill before triggering its activation. This weapon is so incredibly good that it allows a standard character to reach the top of the DPS charts even with an abundance of limited competition. That is an insane amount of value. Jeja, on the other hand, works well with this weapon due to required casts of her resonance skill in her rotations, but does require a few alterations and a slight extension in her field time to maximize its bonuses. When Jeja uses her initial resonance skill, she'll trigger String Master's bonuses, allowing her Forte enhanced casts and her liberation to benefit from the attack boost. However, these Forte enhanced casts will deal entirely basic attack damage, which means Jeja will have to use use another regular resonance skill before swapping to her main DPS if she wants to extend the attack buff into their rotation, complete with its off-field bonus. Considering how Jeja's baseline resonance skill has a cooldown of only 6 seconds, this means you have to extend your rotations to maximize these buffs, but not for very long. And if you're using Jeja with any character that isn't Jinsei, this extension is an amazing opportunity to swap onto your main DPS to optimize your rotations and activate their echo skill or set buffs. She's a fantastic user of the weapon, and while she can't maximize its stack or extend its duration while she's firing off her off-field coordinated attacks, it's easily her second best in slot with only percentage points less performance than her own signature. And on Yinlin, this weapon is literally made for her. She maximizes its stats without even thinking, and with her Forte Circuit's coordinated attacks dealing skill damage, she has basically permanent uptime on its off-field effect, and it's also the only rectifier that she really works well with. That brings us into the final argument for String Master, and that's its competition with other DPS rectifiers. And it's clear there are not a lot of alternative options. When it comes to other 5 stars, Cosmic Ripples is just not good at all. Lacking both critical stats and a widely applicable weapon effect, it's really only usable on Encore and Jeja, but its full bonuses at R1 only total up to about 16% basic attack, that you have to build up with a ton of field time. String Master clears. Jeja's signature, on the other hand, has a similar stat profile as Yinlin's, but focuses far more on critical damage. This isn't a major trade-off, but it doesn't have nearly the flexibility and echo substats that String Master does. Rhyme's weapon effect, on the other hand, is hot dog water on most characters that aren't Jeja. You would think that its big focus on basic attack damage would heavily benefit Encore, but with how split Encore's damage profile is, String Master straight up outperforms it completely. And when String Master is extremely competitive on Jeja herself, there's almost no reason beyond financially supporting Kuro games to pull Jeja's weapon if you have Yinlin's. String Master clears. And the 4 stars? There's really only 3 options. Fusion Accretion from the new series released in 1.3 is your best free option here, as its best-in-class base attack among 4 stars, percentage attack bonuses, and resonance energy provide both flexibility and damage. It's only 40 base attack lower than String Master, and it's also smaller than the gap between Yinlin's signature and other 5-star weapons. Augment, the BP weapon, is also another potential choice, but this weapon is mainly a critical stat stick given its extremely low base attack relative to other choices, and its effect that buffs attack isn't enough to make up for it. Using this weapon will have a noticeable effect on your character's damage, a problem you'll find in the last 4-star option as well, Jinzo Keeper. This weapon is pure copium. It is unbelievably bad, with a base attack of 387 that looks like it belongs on a 3-star, and its attack main stat and bonus in its effect are nowhere near close enough to make up for that level of trash. What this all means is that String Master absolutely clears its competition in almost every single way possible on every character possible, aside from Jeja with her signature, and even that gap isn't significant enough to make a big difference in her performance. It's miles ahead while also making your character building and echo farming far easier. It's a jack of all trades that excels in them all, and pulling this weapon is one of the greatest things you can do for your account. I did it, and you couldn't waterboard any regret out of me. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.